In cybersecurity, we are dealing with strings a lot. For the hashes, for the passwords, usernames, we are looking at uppercase letters, lowercase letters, symbols, and numbers. Now, in this video, I would like to show you a simple case where we are asked to take a random string, such as this one, and change the first letters to uppercases. But it looks like an easy problem, and the first thing that comes to my mind is using this Python string module called title. It basically takes the first letter on each word and capitalized. Well, it doesn't really work because as I show it over here, take a look at this portion here where we have 32C. This title command doesn't make any change on 32 as expected, but puts an uppercase C, and that doesn't work for us. I'm sure there's a reason behind that, but that doesn't meet with the definition here, where it says clearly it is working on the first letters only. And Python is very strong in string methods, so there are many available options, and I couldn't find any other built-in string method that we can directly apply. We will be using some of them, but there is no direct procedure for it. So our easy solution here is giving us a wrong answer. All right. So let's take the same string and look and think about what we can do. The first string method that we can utilize is called this capitalize. It is very common sense. It is just capitalizing the first letter of the first word. So in this case, after we run this command, only this A will be changed to uppercase, right? So it's like print, let's call it capitalize function. It is the scaps. All right. Once we run it, as expected, this is the capitalized, or this is the string after the capitalize method, string method. It keeps everything the same, just changes the first letter to an uppercase. This is useful, but it's not enough. We need to be looking at other string methods to make sure that we are putting capital letters for the words other than the first one, right? Now, I have two main loops really to look at. The first one is to identify the index numbers of the characters from the string to be changed. So to do that, I use the list option. So I defined an empty list called index number. This index number will give me the index numbers of the characters inside the string where we need to make a change from lowercase to an uppercase. And it says here, after the calculation, items 11, 16, and 23 needs to be changed, and makes sense. So probably one of them is D. It should be 11, I guess. And then 16, probably W, right? And then 23 is probably the E. So we need to change this D to uppercase D here, W and E. All right. So the way I do that, there are many ways to approach here. And the way I did this for loop is that I started with I as index number, and it's between one to the length of the string. So length of string here is um there I can see, so 23. So we have 23 letters, 23 characters, right? So the reason I started from 1 is because I put an if statement, and in the if statement I said, I think we can look at this W as example, said I will look at the index number of that character, and if it is a alphabetical, if it's a letter, and the character with the index number 1 less than that, which is 1 to the left, if that character is a space. In other words, I'm trying to find the characters where the index numbers or the characters before them are spaces. Those are the letters that need to be capitalized, basically. So I have two if statements, they should be met together. And if the conditions are met, then I take this number as index number and I append it to the list I called index number. So basically it iterates through the whole characters, and it shows only 3 characters with index numbers of 11, 16, and 23 needs to be capitalized. So basically this whole loop is giving us the index number of the characters that need to be capitalized. And I'm just printing it out just as an input for the next step. Well, the second loop is doing the actual change. And what we do here basically is we are replacing multiple characters using the index positions, index numbers in a string. And the change will not be the same. I'm not changing those characters with the same new character. In other words, every change will be unique. So I use slicing method. Basically, slicing method is that I am again having a for loop, and this time I'm doing it for the 3 indexed values which I had it in the first loop. And let's say the first one was where do I see it? Okay, the first one was index 11. And hold on, I forgot something. Let me talk about it also. I forgot to mention why I use 1 here. So in this if statement, I'm looking at the corresponding index number and the index number before it. So if I start from the first index, which is index 0, index I minus 1 will be negative, and we will get an error message inside this for loop saying that we are looking index values outside the boundaries. So I started from the first index number, which is the second element. So I basically skip the first character, and I know that this character has already been updated using this capitalize method. So I'm aware of this first index count 0 missing, but I already accounted for that in the previous comments. Now, I was telling you that I use slicing method. So basically, the first character, the first change will be on character with index number of 11. So basically, this part will write down the string from the first index, so from index 0 all the way to index 11. And in Python, you know, the right boundary is excluded. So 11 element with an index number of 11 or character with an index number of 11 is not included here. So this middle portion is including that. And before including, I'm changing it to the uppercase first, and then including to the string, and then the portion in the right is continuing from element 11 forward, or 12th forward. I'm sorry, 11 is here. So elements 0 to 11 or 10 are included here, and then element 11 is on this one, and the elements from 11 all the way to end is on this part here. So when you connect or merge those three slices, basically I represent the whole string, right? So it's a for loop, so I will do it in 3 iterations. I'll start with the first element 11, and then 16 and 23, and at the end we should have correct capitalization for all the numbers, and I think I run this correctly. So this string here will look like this after the after this small coding here. But if I had used the title method, string method, I would have received a wrong answer, because that title method, for for unknown reason, I couldn't find reference for that. It makes changes on the characters followed by numbers. Right. Thanks for your time.